What strange thing happened to your childhood friend? 1. My childhood best friend was Anna. One day, while cleaning her room, I found an old letter. Its contents described events that would happen in the future, like a major city fire or an accident involving a mutual friend. Strangely, those events unfolded exactly as the letter predicted. Anna swore she never wrote it and had no idea where it came from. 2. I had a friend named Liam, always kind and friendly since we were kids. But a year after transferring to a different school, he visited our class and was completely different. Cold, as if he didn't recognize anyone. The strangest part was he spoke in odd, cryptic sentences and claimed he didn't remember his past. After that, Liam vanished from my life without explanation. 3. Once I found an old photo of my childhood friend Sophie in a family box. Sophie insisted she'd never seen the photo, and it included another person she didn't recognize. When I asked the adults in my family, they didn't know where the photo came from either. To this day, no one can explain it. 4. At 12 years old, Daniel would come to class every morning and say things like, "Miss Smith won't be here today," or "Third period will be free." And he was always right, as if he knew in advance which teachers would be absent. When I asked how he knew, he'd just say, "I dreamed it." On days when no one was absent, he seemed visibly confused. He transferred schools a year later. 5. Emily, my elementary school best friend, used to draw strange figures with large eyes and sharp teeth, writing, "They're watching me." No one paid much attention until a disappearance happened near her house, and her sketchbook had a drawing of a place identical to the crime scene. Her family moved away soon after. I haven't seen her since. 6. Alex was given an antique watch. Oddly, it always stopped at 4:17 p.m. every day, no matter how he tried to fix it. He said at exactly 4:17, he'd hear whispers in his head, like someone calling his name. One day, he threw the watch away. A week later, it reappeared on his desk, still stuck at 4:17. 7. Jason had a homemade cardboard mailbox in his room. Every morning, it contained a scribbled note in childish handwriting, like "Play with me" or "Don't go out today." His family thought his little sister was pranking him, but one day, his sister had an accident right after Jason received a note saying, "Don't let her leave the house." 8. As a kid, Julia would talk to herself and point at empty spaces, saying things like, "That man is crying," or "That lady has no legs." We thought she was imagining things. But whenever Julia described a stranger, an accident would happen in that exact area a few days later. 9. Tom shared vivid childhood memories of us playing in the woods, skipping school, and other adventures. The strange thing is, I don't remember any of it, and my parents confirmed I never went to the places he described. Tom insisted I was there, saying, "It was definitely you." 10. When he was 8, Max told me he'd been a chef in Italy, had a lover named Caterina, and died from poisoning. He described it so vividly that even adults were taken aback. To this day, Max refuses to eat tomatoes and has an intense aversion to kitchens. 11. Sandra always carried a small metal box and wouldn't let anyone open it. When I asked about it, she said, "If you open it, something will come back, and you don't want that to come back." She moved away and left the box behind. I've never dared to open it. 12. Natalie used to play a random writing game with pen and paper. One day, she wrote a list of 5 names. Days later, the news reported 3 of those people died in separate accidents. Natalie was so terrified, she never played the game again. 13. Lydia, my friend since age 7, would draw detailed maps of places she'd never visited. Not random sketches, but precise maps with scales, underground paths, and street names. Once, while traveling in Italy, I sent her a photo. She replied, "There's a hidden passage behind the church. Check it out." I went and found a small concealed door behind a statue, not marked on any map. 14. Noah nearly died in an accident at 14. Weeks later, he showed me an old letter he found in his desk drawer, with no sender's address but his name clearly written. It detailed his accident, date, time, even the license plate of the car involved. Noah swore he didn't write it. The paper was yellowed, and at the bottom was a final line. "Next time, don't cross the street at 1823. 15. One night at Ethan's house, I walked into his room and saw him lying on the bed, facing away. I greeted him, but he didn't respond. Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. "I'm waiting for you at the gate, hurry up." I turned back to the bed. It was empty. The room was completely silent. 16. I went to middle school with a boy named Leon for 2 years. We were close. He even gave me rides to school for a month. Years later, I tried to reconnect with old friends, but no one in our class remembered a Leon. He wasn't in our class photos. Teachers didn't recall him. I found a picture of us together, but his face was completely blurred, as if someone had tried to erase it. 17. At 15, we went on a group trip. In every group photo, Anna was in the center. Months later, when I looked at the album, Anna was gone from every picture, not edited or removed. People next to her now stood alone, with an odd empty space in the frame. I asked the photo developer, who said he'd never seen anything like it. 18. Sophia, my elementary school best friend, lived next door. She moved away mid-school year, and no one knew why. 3 years later, late at night, I heard familiar laughter from the fence behind our house. A voice, unmistakably Sophia's, called my name. When I went outside, the fence bordered only an empty lot. Sophia's old house had been demolished a year earlier. 19. The old condo where Tommy lived skipped the 13th floor, like many buildings. But one day, Tommy sent me a photo of the elevator panel. It had a 13 button. I thought he was joking. That night, he texted. I pressed it. It opened. Then another message. It's not like any other floor. Silence followed. The next morning, Tommy was gone. and the 13 button had vanished from the panel. 20. We took a group photo in an old cabin, just 3 of us. Me, Greg, and Rachel. The developed photo showed 4 people. A blurred, unnaturally tall figure stood in the middle. Thinking it was a camera error, we checked other photos. They were fine. Greg took the photo home and couldn't sleep for a week. Then the photo disappeared from his room. Greg said, "I remember now. That person came to me when I was 21. Oliver had a circular birthmark on his back, like a burn scar. His parents said he was born with it. During a class trip to a medieval punishment museum, when we reached an ancient execution chair, Oliver froze, collapsed, and panicked. Later he whispered, 'That place is so hot. It'll burn my back again.' 22. At 17, my best friend Liam and I had a huge fight. We didn't speak for 2 months. One day, Liam came to my house, sat silently with me all afternoon, then apologized and said, 'Live well, okay?' I found it odd, but felt relieved. The next morning, my mom woke me with news. Liam had died in a car accident the previous night. I don't understand. He was with me, 23. Every summer, I'd visit my grandparents and play with a boy named Eli. Around 8, brown hair, friendly smile. When I was 17, I returned and saw Eli. Still 8, unchanged. I asked my grandma, who said, "I don't recall you playing with anyone. You'd just sit alone in the yard, talking and laughing." I showed her a clear photo of me with Eli. She stared, then said, "That's Eli, the old neighbor. He died in 1992, 24. Chloe, my sweet but eccentric elementary friend, called me one day and said, "I have to go. This place isn't real." I thought she was joking. The next day, she vanished without a trace. Her family moved away. 10 years later, I got an email from a strange address with one line, "Thanks for not asking questions that day." 25. My friend Isabel, always lively, warned me, "If I ever disappear, don't say my name after midnight." I thought it was a game. One day, she stopped coming to school. The teacher said her family moved suddenly. That night, I told my mom and accidentally said Isabel's name at 12:05. Instantly, the room's lights went out and I heard footsteps from the attic where no one ever goes. 26. In kindergarten, Sebastian and I would draw on each other's white shirts with markers, creating unique designs. I forgot about it as we grew up. But one day, at a thrift market in another city, I found a white shirt with familiar drawings, a lopsided smiley face, a broken heart, and S+T, Issy's Friends Forever, on the back. It was the shirt I made for Sebastian. The seller said, "A very thin man with deep-set eyes left it last week." 27. My friend Lucy had a black cat named Midnight. It never meowed or blinked. When I looked closely, its eyes were just deep, black voids. Lucy said, "It sees everything inside you." One night sleeping over, I woke to Midnight sitting on my chest. The next morning, I found a scratch on my neck, and Lucy whispered, "Now it knows your secret." 28. Lastly, something strange happened to me. As a kid, I had a best friend I played with for years. But now, I can't remember their name or face, though I'm certain they were real. When I asked my parents, they said I never had such a friend, had such a friend, had such